Hello everyone and welcome to part 10 of Rags to Riches with Dartford, and coming up in today's episode we might have Eastleigh at home and Southend away from home. The reason I say might I'll get into later, but we have changed our tactic a little bit. So we've gone back to the sort of low block. So we've got a low block line of engagement and then a standard defensive line, generally higher tempo, and then a balanced mentality. And it has helped quite a lot because since the two games that you would have seen here against Exeter and Halifax, where we lost both of them, we haven't lost. Admittedly, we have only played, 7 games. In those 7 games, we've drawn 2 of them and then won the other 5. Some of them quite considerably. So we won 5-0 against Gateshead, 4-0 against Dagenham Red, and then 5-1 against Didcot in the FA Trophy third round. You know, I wasn't really planning on coming back at this point. And the reason I have is because of this email that we've received. We've been offered a 1-year contract on £800 a week to take the managerial job at Grimsby. Definitely wasn't expecting to be getting any sort of job offers like this early on. Like literally a season and a half. For that, we've had to make promises of no club job applications and an acceptable dressing room atmosphere, which, as long as we keep winning, shouldn't be too bad. It's annoyingly their board culture is to play direct football, defensively solid, and make the most of set pieces, which is like completely different to what I normally do. That's one issue. Another issue is the £800 a week, because we are currently earning £875 a week. So it would actually be a £75 a week pay cut. But the benefit is we'd be joining a vastly better team. And you can just see that based on the wage budget. Their wage budget is 50k. Ours is 12. So, yeah. I mean, they're in League One. If we have a look at them, the end of current season objective is to attempt to avoid relegation from League One. And they are currently sitting 14th in the table. So they're not really anywhere near relegation. They've got 37 points and the relegation spot is 31. The reason their old manager left is because he got a new job, I think. So if we go to the manager, it was Paul Hurst, who's moved on to Preston North End in the Championship, who are just about fighting relegation themselves, actually. So yeah, it's a tricky one because it would be a much better job and definitely, increase our reputation a fair bit so we can hopefully move on in the future. But the board culture, defensively solid football, direct football, set pieces, the lesser wage. It's tricky, but it's difficult to turn down a League One team when you're in the National League. So we're going to go into the negotiations and we're going to try and get them to pay us a bit more. 1 year also is not great. I would prefer a 2-year contract, but whether they'll actually let us have that, I don't know. So we've managed to get them to give us £925 a week, which is a £50 a week pay rise. Like I say, we've only got a 1-year contract though, which is a bit difficult, but we're just gonna have to live with it really. And if we finalise this deal, then we will be moving teams. There you go, Grimsby Town hire Cameron. Cameron arrives with a record of 47 wins, 16 draws, and 22 defeats in his career. Not too bad. He also won a league title. His first game in charge will be against Luton Town in the FA Cup, so we actually have an FA Cup tie as our first game. We'll face pressure to bring immediate success to Blundell Park, having stepped up from his previous standing to take sole charge, and will need to hit the ground running if he is to win over those who believe his appointment is a questionable decision. Apparently a guy called Mark Bentley was considered to be the favourite for the job, but they obviously decided to use us. Apparently we prefer to use a 4-2-3-1 formation. Pretty sure we used a 4-3-3 with Dartford, so not sure where they got that from. Thankfully, defensively solid, direct, and counter-attacking football are all just 1 bar of favoured. Make the most of set pieces is 2, so we might have to tick play for set pieces just to make the board happy. But overall, I don't think this should be too difficult because they want us to avoid relegation, and we're already in prime position to avoid relegation. Now, what do supporters want us to do? They want us to play entertaining, attacking, possession-based football, which is like completely different to what the board want us to do. We've got a youth intake preview here, which is awful, absolutely terrible. It is like the worst youth intake I think I've probably ever seen. 1-star youth intake, and the highest is C, and that's in our fullbacks and centre-backs. What is our squad looking like at the moment? It is huge. We have, this is Oh my God, this is huge compared to the squad that we have, or that we had in Dartford. We've got 32 people in our squad. That is insane. It's not even in the under 18s. We've got 5 people that are 1 star. They're just harbouring young players that are awful. You do not need 32 players in your squad. That's insane. But yeah, it looks like our best players are Harry Clifton, Brian Morris, Anthony Glennon, Alex Hunt, Danny Amos. The one thing that is concerning me a bit is that at least these 3, Clifton, Morris and Hunt, are all just midfielders or DMs, which is probably why they were playing a 4-4-2. We haven't really got a huge amount of sort of wingers. We got this guy, Nombi. The assistant manager recommends fluid counter-attack in a 4-2-3-1. I'm just going to put in a couple of formations and see what it says our best team is in them. So the 4-3-1, a 4-3-3. So yeah, a 4-4-2 is definitely possible. What about a 4-2-3-1? 4-2-3-1 is possible because Harry Clifton is more than happy to play as a ball-winning midfielder. We got Patrick, who prefers to be a winger or inverted winger, so that's fine. I think a 4-3-3 might be the way to go. Just exactly like we were with Dartford. We definitely have a good selection of players that can play there. Either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, to be honest. A 4-2-3-1 is a bit more defensive, might be worth it. So I'll train up both a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3, I think. Now, we've got to bear in mind, we are in January, so we are in the transfer window. So if we need to bring anyone in, we actually can. Probably best to have a look, see what sort of areas we're weak in. Looks like definitely defence. So centre-backs, right-backs, we should be looking at. Definitely. Not a huge amount of quality in centre-back. We got these 2 that have good potential, but overall quality, not great. Same in right-back as well. Left-back, we got Glennon, so he's good. We got a couple of decent DMs, loads of decent midfielders. Not a huge amount of support in right and left wing. And the problem with trying to sign somebody is obviously we have 14 players that we know about, so we're going to have to wait a little while. No recruitment focuses up at all. But if you look at staff, we are gutted, absolutely gutted. Right, we do not have a scout. We don't have our scouts. We don't have recruitment analysts. We don't have director of football. Don't have assistant coach. We've got our 3 coaches, which isn't bad. But I'm definitely going to have to go through and try and hire some people. Right, so it is time for our first game as Grimsby manager, and we are playing Luton Town in the FA Cup. Now, this is a game I'm not necessarily expecting to win because they are a Sky Bet Championship team. Admittedly, they are in 23rd, so they're not the best, but they should still be better than us, and nonetheless, obviously, their tactical familiarity is awful. We're going to go with this 4-4-2 just because I expect us to be the underdogs. Sort of a low block countering type thing. We'll see how it works. I've never really got on with a 4-4-2, but it could work. So we'll go over this and see what our Grimsby lads can do. We have an immediate kick-off highlight, and it is with Luton, which is a little bit problematic. Obviously, our guys aren't necessarily going to be trying to press too high up the pitch here because we've set them up with a low block. Gets back onto it, but Campbell sends it to Doty. Adebayo, and they're 1-0 up already, 30 seconds in. But it won't count because it's offside, just allowing them a little bit of space to pass around here. Bell tries to run through it. Our defender does literally nothing now. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on there either. And that's a goal. What have I just witnessed? What was that? Gotta watch the replay of that. So, Cornick, this waterfall, right? He is in prime location to go and pick that up and just stops. And then you've got 2 defenders here that could have taken it off of Cornick, including Meyer, who just steps over the ball and goes, oh, you know what, maybe not. Cornick then kicks it, dings it off of Denzil, and then Adebayo just headers it in. Can our defence actually remember what defending is this time? Clearly not. Freeman gives it to Adebayo, and that's 2-0. It's going to change the gegenpress. See what happens, because his low block is not working. 20 minutes in, Luton are on the ball once again. You can see we are certainly pressing a little bit higher up now. I've changed it to gegenpress. Bree, what are we doing? Come on. Adebayo is in acres of space here. Our defender's doing nothing. Wellens does just about tackle him, but Adebayo gets it back, sends it on to Cornick, and now that's 3-0. What have we got ourselves into here? They've all just completely forgotten what football is, I think. Finally, we have a highlight where we are on the ball. Maguire onto Hunt. Come on, let's do something with this. Through to Clifton. And the goalkeeper just about manages to make the save. 27. We're only 27 minutes in. What is going on? And we've just given away a penalty. And that's 4. I think we're just going to park the bus here. We're going to have to. Just so we don't embarrass ourselves. Right, Wellens. That guy's fully offside, surely, no? Okay, right, Wellens. Over to Clifton. Bree clears it. Oh my God, they have a free kick in a very, very dangerous location here of Freeman. And he's through, and that's 5. Just checking we're on key highlights. We are. So many highlights. We're only 39 minutes in. What's he going to do with it? Passes it down to Bell. Is our defender actually going to, tackle? They don't seem to want to do anything. What is going on? Right, here we go. Hunt. Can you do something with it? I know we are on a very defensive tactic here. Maguire tries to do a long ball over to Clifton. Doesn't manage to reach him, but Amos picks it up anyway. Over to Nom, who passes it on to Maguire Drew and almost gets the goal, but Nom manages to do it. Consolation goal. The one time we scored a goal is when we've got a park the bus tactic on. Don't understand this game sometimes, but that is half-time. We are 5-1 down at half-time. 50 minutes in, they have a highlight. We clear it, but not far enough because Cornick is going to be able to pick it back up. We do have a defender trying to get it, but doesn't do anything properly, and that's an own goal. Just to make things worse. Oh my God. How does that happen? Who are you? Dinzayi, you're coming off. As if being 5-1 down wasn't bad enough, Dinzayi makes it 6. Right, Anthony Glennon. We're going to switch to a 4-3-3. I don't know how this is going to work, but we actually have the ball now. Waterfall, Hunt. What's he going to do? Passes it through to, well, tries to get it through to Maguire Drew, but he is unable to actually get the ball. Hunt. What could he do here? Gets it through and we're 6-2. This is the weirdest game of football I think I've ever watched. Right, we're going to encourage them. I very much doubt they're going to recover 4 goals in the next, 2 minutes. But, right, Meyer is having a terrible game, but we don't really have another right back, which is the problem we identified earlier. So we're going to have to bring on Otis Khan, but he's got to be better than him. We have a 5.8 rating. Long on to Burke. Tries to get a long ball over to Adebayo. Not able to do so. Fryer runs out an immense distance. Ends up falling into the feet of the Luton player. Adebayo is back on it. Clark running it down the flank. And has he won a corner? Not quite. Amos onto Wellens. Onto Glennon. And then another long ball over to Baker Richardson. Manages to get it back to Hunt, but he gets dispossessed, which means Clark is on it. Finds the gap for Adebayo. Fryer just about makes the save. Hits the woodwork, but thankfully goes, well, the right way for us. At least we aren't getting trashed as much moving to this 4-3-3. Maguire Drew manages to get it onto one of our players, but heads it to the side of the net. And that is a 6-2 loss for our first ever Grimsby game. Zayi and Maher having terrible games. 5.9 and 5.8. Morris and Hunt, very good games as well as Nom. But overall, everybody had an awful game there. Like I say, fully expected to lose, but not like that. That was actually Baker Richardson's Grimsby Town debut, apparently, so they must have bought him. Apparently, the original expectation was that we would be knocked out in the first round, so defeat in the third round probably isn't awful. And if we go to Luton, there should be a team report for us to look at. Oh, maybe not. We're not allowed to scout the team because it's too expensive for the club. We're not allowed to scout the team one league above us. Wow. Okay. But it does mean that we passed the objective to be competitive in the FA Cup. So all we had to do is join the club, lose 6-2, and then they're happy with it. And actually only got a D from the board. Got an E from the supporters, so expected. But, yeah. Anyway, we're only going to do one game for this episode, so I'll do a few of these, maybe come back mid-Feb, just so we actually have a couple of games with Grimsby on camera in the League One. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, share, comment, all that fantastic stuff, and I'll see you next time.